Before dating apps, love letters, roses, and awkward restaurant bills, ancient people still had to figure out attraction. But ancient love probably did not begin with romance as we imagine it today. It began in a world where food was uncertain, winter was serious, and being alone was a terrible life plan. So the real question is not simply, did ancient people fall in love? The better question is, what did love look like when survival depended on other people? Because in ancient life, someone attractive was not just someone pretty. Someone attractive might be the person who could find food, keep a fire going, notice danger, and not panic dramatically. Romance may have existed, but it was wrapped inside practical choices. A loving gesture might not have been a poem. It might have been, "Here, I saved you the less burned piece of food," which, honestly, in a brutal world, is basically prehistoric flirting. So let us ask the strange question, how did ancient people fall in love? And was it romance, survival, or something deeply human between the two? Attraction in the ancient world probably started with the body, but not in the modern magazine cover sense. Health mattered because health was information. Strong movement, clear eyes, endurance, and confidence could signal that someone was likely to survive hard days. But attraction was not just about strength. A person who could cooperate may have been far more valuable than a person who only looked impressive beside a fire. In a small group, everyone noticed who helped, who shared, who complained, and who somehow made every problem worse. Being useful was attractive. Being reliable was attractive. Being calm when the bushes made a suspicious noise was extremely attractive. A good partner might know where food grew, when animals moved, or how to fix a tool before sunset. Skill could look like romance when everyone was hungry. Humor may have mattered too, because laughter makes fear lighter. If someone could make the group relax after a dangerous day, that was not a small thing. Ancient attraction may have combined biology, personality, usefulness, and reputation. In other words, ancient people probably did not ask, "Are they my type?" They asked, "Would being near this person make life better or much worse?" Courtship before dating was not a scheduled event with clean clothes and background music. It was probably woven into daily work. People noticed each other while gathering food, carrying water, making tools, tending fire, and surviving the same exhausting day. Attention was courtship. Showing up repeatedly was courtship. Helping without being asked was probably a stronger signal than any ancient pickup line. A person might impress someone by sharing food, or by bringing fuel for the fire, or by helping repair a shelter before a cold night. There were no text messages, but there were glances across the campfire. There were no profile pictures, but everyone already knew your entire personality because the group was small and nosy. If you were lazy, rude, selfish, or terrible under pressure, there was no hiding it. Ancient romance had very bad privacy settings. That also meant trust had time to grow. Affection may have appeared through repeated small actions rather than one dramatic confession. Someone saved you food. Someone waited for you. Someone noticed when you were tired. Someone sat near you when the night was cold. And slowly, survival behavior could start feeling like attachment. Food may have been one of the oldest love languages. Not fancy food, not dessert, not anything with a tiny decorative leaf on top. Just food that meant effort, time, and risk. Sharing food was powerful because food was never guaranteed. Giving someone a good piece of food meant, "Your hunger matters to me." That is not a modern romantic line, but it is emotionally serious. Fire mattered too. A place near the fire meant warmth, light, safety, and social belonging. To sit close to someone near the flame was not only cozy. It was practical intimacy. Shelter mattered because a good place to sleep could decide whether a night was miserable or survivable. A dependable partner could help build, repair, carry, gather, and watch. Of course, love was not all gentle firelight and shared berries. There was probably jealousy, rivalry, and social drama. Because humans have always been humans. If one person received more attention, someone else may have noticed immediately. A rival might try to look stronger, smarter, funnier, or dramatically better at carrying firewood. Competition did not always need violence. Sometimes it was just two people silently offering better food gifts while pretending not to care. Ancient dating may have been one awkward talent show with survival consequences. The group also mattered. In small communities, relationships were not private little bubbles. Everyone had opinions. Elders could judge. Relatives could interfere. Friends could gossip beside the fire with the confidence of people who had no television. A relationship could affect alliances, sharing, childcare, and group stability. So choosing a partner was never only personal. It was social. Ancient love may have included affection, but it also had an audience. And that audience probably whispered constantly. Pair bonding mattered because human children need a lot of care for a long time. Compared with many animals, humans are born helpless and stay dependent for years. That made cooperation incredibly important. A child needed food, warmth, protection, teaching, patience, and adults who did not disappear when things became inconvenient. So long-term bonds could be useful not only for two adults, but for the entire group. A caring partner could help carry food. A trusted partner could watch the child. A reliable partner could support the mother, father, relatives, and wider camp network. But this does not mean love was cold calculation. Care can begin as survival and still become emotional. Repeated help builds memory. Memory builds trust. Trust builds attachment. A child laughing near the fire could turn practical cooperation into something deeper. Families were probably not perfect, because no human era has ever achieved that miracle. But ancient bonding may have helped turn fragile lives into something more stable. Love became more than attraction when it created care that lasted beyond the moment. So was ancient love just survival? Not exactly. If love were only survival, humans would feel nothing when someone left, failed, returned, helped, or stayed. But humans feel a lot. Even ancient humans likely experienced longing, jealousy, grief, comfort, preference, tenderness, and attachment. The mistake is imagining romance and survival as opposites. For ancient people, survival may have been the place where affection grew. You trusted the person who came back. You cared for the person who shared. You remembered the person who helped during cold, hunger, fear, or injury. That is emotional material. Modern romance often separates love from practical life. Ancient love may have done the opposite. It blended emotion with work, hunger, danger, children, fire, and social pressure. A romantic partner was not just someone who made your heart beat faster. They might also be the person who made tomorrow more possible. And in a dangerous world, that is not a small kind of love. Ancient people probably fell in love through repeated life together. Not one perfect moment, not one magical speech, not one dramatic sunset where everyone suddenly understood their feelings. They fell in love through seeing who stayed, who shared food, and who helped when nobody was watching, who made fear smaller, who could be trusted near the fire, and who remembered your needs when the group was tired, who protected children, who kept working during bad weather, and who made survival feel less lonely. That may not sound like modern romance, but it may be closer to the roots of love than we think. Because love is not only attraction. It is attention repeated over time. It is memory attached to care. It is choosing someone again when life is difficult. So how did ancient people fall in love? Probably not the way movies teach us. They fell in love through food, fire, trust, danger, laughter, children, and shared survival. Final answer. Ancient love was not just romance, and it was not just survival. It was survival becoming personal. It was care becoming memory. It was two people realizing that life near each other was warmer, safer, and somehow more worth surviving.